You call your dog over and it comes running, tail wagging, eyes locked on yours, waiting for a signal. This feels natural to you now, almost invisible. But the real answer to how this happened is far stranger than a simple story about man's best friend. Because somewhere in the deep past, your ancestors sat across a fire from an animal that could have killed them, and instead of fighting it, they learned from it. Start with what wolves actually are. Not pets, not tame animals waiting to be domesticated. Wolves are highly coordinated pack hunters, capable of bringing down prey many times their size through teamwork alone. Each wolf understands its role. Each wolf reads the body language of the others instantly. A pack does not survive through individual strength. It survives through communication. And that is exactly what early humans needed to learn. The archaeologist and biologist Pat Shipman has argued that the unique human-canine relationship may have given early Homo sapiens a decisive edge over Neanderthals. Her research suggests that partnering with wolf-like canines helped early humans track and corner large game more effectively than they could alone. Neanderthals, as far as the evidence shows, never formed this same kind of partnership. Humans did. So what did your ancestors actually learn from wolves? Not tricks, not obedience, something deeper. Consider scent tracking first. Wolves can detect prey from over a mile away under the right wind conditions, something no human nose could ever match. Early hunters likely noticed how wolves altered their pace and direction the instant they caught a distant scent, long before any visual sign of prey appeared. Following those cues, rather than relying on human senses alone, may have extended the effective hunting range of early human groups far beyond what their own bodies allowed. Cooperative hunting. Wolves take down prey by working together, some driving the animal forward while others wait to intercept it. Early human hunting groups appear to have adopted strikingly similar tactics, coordinating movement across distance in ways solitary hunters never could. Watching wolves hunt may have taught humans how to think as a group, not just as individuals chasing the same goal. Then there's territory and shared resources. Wolf packs divide labor. Some members hunt, others guard pups. Older or injured wolves are sometimes fed by the rest of the pack rather than abandoned. This is not sentimentality, it's strategy. A pack that cares for its weaker members retains more knowledge and long-term survival value than one that discards them. Early human groups living closely alongside wolves may have absorbed this same logic, shaping how they treated the young, the old, and the injured within their own communities. There's another piece of this that rarely gets mentioned. Trust signals. Wolves communicate an enormous amount through eye contact alone, something most predator species actively avoid. A direct stare between two wolves can mean challenge, or it can mean cooperation, depending entirely on posture and context. Anthropologists studying early human-canine interaction have suggested that this comfort with direct eye contact is part of what allowed the bond between the two species to form at all. Most wild animals treat a human stare as a threat. Wolves uniquely could tolerate it and even use it to coordinate. That single trait, tolerance for direct eye contact, may be one of the most important inherited behaviors in your dog today. It's why your dog holds your gaze longer than almost any other domesticated animal. Researchers studying human-dog bonding have found that mutual eye contact between a person and their dog actually triggers a release of oxytocin in both species, the same bonding hormone involved in the connection between a parent and child. Wolves gave dogs the biological groundwork for that connection. Humans simply built on top of it. Here's where it gets stranger. Genetic and archaeological evidence suggests wolves and humans began drifting toward each other tens of thousands of years ago, likely through wolves that were bolder, less fearful of human camps, and willing to scavenge near the edges of firelight. The evolutionary biologist Raymond Coppinger proposed that domestication may not have started with humans choosing wolves at all. It may have started with wolves choosing humans, drawn in by the promise of food scraps at the edge of a hunting camp. If Coppinger is right, then your dog's ancestors were not tamed. They were self-selected. The boldest, calmest wolves kept coming back. Generation after generation, natural selection favored wolves that could tolerate human presence until an entirely new animal began to emerge. The geneticist Robert Wayne, who helped map the genetic split between wolves and dogs, found that this transformation left a visible mark in the genome itself. Traits tied to fear response and stress hormones shifted measurably in early domesticated lineages, a biological record of thousands of years spent learning to tolerate, rather than flee from, human presence. This wasn't a single moment of taming. It was a slow rewriting of an entire species, one generation of calmer, bolder wolves at a time. But before that transformation was complete, humans were still watching, learning. A wolf pack reads subtle shifts in posture, ear position, and tail movement to coordinate a hunt without a single sound. Early humans, already skilled at reading each other's faces and gestures, may have sharpened this same skill by observing wolves up close, translating animal signals into strategies for tracking prey and predicting danger. There's a reason this story runs so deep into how you live today. You already inherited far more from this relationship than a house pet. The instinct to work in coordinated teams, to divide labor by strength and skill, to protect the vulnerable members of your own group rather than abandon them, these did not disappear when the last ice age ended. They became part of how human societies organize themselves altogether. Even now, when you trust a teammate to cover a task you can't do alone, or feel a pull to protect someone weaker than you, you are running on wiring shaped, at least in part by watching wolves survive together tens of thousands of years ago. Think about how many of your own social instincts map directly onto this old partnership. The discomfort you feel when a group member gets left behind. The instinct to divide a difficult task by strength and skill instead of doing it all yourself. The way a long, steady gaze from someone you trust can calm you down faster than words ever could. None of these are modern inventions. They are old survival strategies, borrowed from an animal your ancestors once feared, then studied, then eventually welcomed close enough to share a fire with. So the next time your dog looks up at you, waiting for direction, remember what that gaze actually represents. Not obedience, not simple loyalty. It is the last visible trace of a much older exchange, one where two very different animals looked at each other across a fire and decided that surviving together beats surviving alone. You call your dog, and it comes running. But long before that, your ancestors called out to a wolf, and something in it decided to stay.